Hi, this is Ross with DIY on the House. Today we're going to be replacing a water softener. So we're removing one and putting one back in. This is a Whirlpool unit. This is very similar to a General Electric unit that Home Depot sells. This is from an old one from Lowe's. And we're going to be installing a Ream unit from Home Depot. All the system setup is exactly the same between the three units. I believe it's the same manufacturer, so because the keyboard, everything is exactly the way it sets up. So it's a super simple change out. We'll show you exactly how to do it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is disconnect the power source. Next thing we're going to do is shut off the water to the unit. On this particular one, it has a valve coming in out of the wall over here, and then it also has a valve that's exiting on the output side. So we'll shut them both off, and then this does have this unit here. It's called a fin. It's a water detection device. It shuts off the water for flood protection. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and we will be supporting the fin unit because it is coming out of the wall here, and once we disconnect it, the weight of the unit itself, we'll want to try to drag that down, so we'll want to support that. So on yours, if you have anything coming out of the wall that's before the softener, you want to try to support that before you disconnect everything. So we're going to go ahead and shut it down and do a disconnect. Okay, so now we've got the water supply shut off. This is supported. I'm going to go ahead and push this into bypass, and that's just by pushing that over. What that's going to do is eliminate the machine, but it will just bring the water here and here. So it is just a bypass of the machine itself. So next thing we're going to do is we are going to have a little bit of water pressure on this. Now on yours, you may want to go ahead and just take the pressure off the house once you do the valve. But since this one does have two valves, and we're just going to be, the only pressure in it is in these lines, so it really won't be any type of volume. Okay, take that off. Unhook our oven. Okay, once that's done, all right, I'm going to go ahead and pop our top off the unit itself, just like that. I'm going to disconnect the brine or the drain line. Just like that. Okay, so now the only thing holding it up is the electric cord. We went ahead and removed, this was actually filled up with salt, which was probably going to be around 120 pounds. So we went ahead and get the weight out of it. So once this is done and we're just totally disconnected, I'm just going to shift this machine out of the way. And then when we get the new machine in place, we'll go ahead and put the salt in from here first. Just transfer it over to the new machine. Okay, so on this, the original installation was with these flexible lines. I use flexible lines as well. I use the stainless steel. This is 1-inch nut here by 3/4 nut. And that's what these are both 3/4 by sweat. I'm going to go ahead and transition this over because of this male or female adapter that they have on this copper. I'm going to go ahead and replace that with this. And then this is PEX. I'm going to go ahead and snap on a male PEX adapter. If you have anything like this in PEX or whatever, you can use a SharkBite male if you want. If you have a totally different setup, you may have to end up sweating these back on. It just depends. Everyone's a little different. Every house is a little different. You just have to make sure your connections will fit the need. And but this is definitely the easiest way. These also come in 1-inch nut by sweat. So if you need to sweat these on, it can be done. This is the output line going into the house from the machine. So we're just going to go ahead and take him off. Put put our ring on, and I'll crimp that on. Okay, and then the other one is going to go onto this leak detection machine, or leak protection. Let's see if we can get this off without messing things up. That's all done, and then, as I said, this is the input line, so we'll go ahead and screw him on. And if this was copper, like on a copper pipe coming out of the wall, I would sweat that on. Alright, so I've got the water all wiped up and the old machine out and the connectors on. We're going to get into our goodie bag. And that's going to be the new connectors for the new machine. And this is a Ream 42,000 grain machine from Home Depot. And like I said, the setup is like almost identical. It's just some little bit bigger parts. Different, but they all set up same. Got a bypass valve out. This comes with a test strip, which we'll be using to make sure the hardness level was right on the old machine. The other one was set up at 17 grains hardness, and we'll see what the new one is. We'll just go right off the city water to find out. So we're going to take our other bag. So the new one it comes with new O-rings and a lubricant. So what we're going to do is we're going to slip on our new O-rings. Then we're going to take our lubricant, just get a little bit on my finger, and we'll wipe that on there just like Bob Ross. Just wipe it on a little bit. Okay, once those are on, this part right here inserts into the machine. These are our connector adapters. And what we're going to do is we're just going to push that on. You can see the O-ring right there. I'm just going to put a little bit tension on it, let it just kind of glide in. And the same with the other one. There we go. And they both snapped in. You don't want to see any rubber around these at all. That means the O-ring is slipped and it's pinched and it's actually ruined. Alright, so now we're going to take this connector, actually a keeper clip. And we'll want to snap that on just like that. Make sure both ears go into the indents on here. And that'll keep that in place. And just give them a little, and everything's in. Alright, so we're going to open the cover up on it. And just going to spread the back here just a little bit. There's two clips here to keep this in. There's the hood. There's actually a little crack here, right here, but that's fine. And it pops off. So now I've got to get the belly of the beast here. I'm going to do that rubber band on the connector. We're going to rotate that head so that it's in line coming back straight. And we're going to remove these clips by just pushing on both sides. And those will come out of the groove just like so. And we're going to take our new bypass valve and stick that in. Now, if you have the water that's actually coming from the top side, you'll turn it up like this. From the bottom, you'll turn it like this. This is the input side. This is in here and out here. And we'll want to just slip that in. And just press that in. Once that's in, we'll take our clip, put that back in like so. Okay, that's in, that's secure, and we're ready to reconnect the water lines. We have the water lines like so, and this is our output. So we'll line him up, and this is our input. So we'll shift the machine over for it to meet. Okay, and then I'm going to move over to the input side. If we need to move it over now, we can, because we're on these flexible lines. That's the great thing about stainless steel, it's super flexible. Just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to position the machine where I want it and try to keep this unit square. So once we're there, this machine automatically comes in bypass mode. So, and that's this lever here. It says right on here, push for bypass. So we're going to go ahead and leave that in bypass. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the water back on, nice and slow, and we're going to check for leaks. Okay, and once that's on, I'm going to look around for leaks. We don't have any, so I'm going to go ahead and turn on the water back to the house. Luckily we have this valve. Alright, we'll let the system recharge. I like to try to make sure I stand back, look at the machine, make sure it's square with the wall, because you don't want it all, once you put the salt in, it's super heavy. We don't want to try to end up trying to twist things around. The flexible lines are great, but yeah, everything that they're connected to has a point where it's not going to be flexible anymore. So everything's good here. We'll go ahead and go back to the machine, and what we're going to do at this point, I'm going to go ahead and open everything up nice and slow on the bypass valve, and you'll hear the water start coming back into the machine, or coming into the machine. What that's doing is charging this tank up in here with water. Okay, once that's done, what we're going to need to do is go inside of the house here and start going ahead and on the cold side only, open the tap up. You're going to get some air, and then you're going to start getting some discolored water. It's going to look kind of a tannish. We want to get that to the point where it's running clear. Once that's clear, then we're ready to start setting up the machine the rest of the way. All right, since this is a replacement machine for a replacement machine, I'm going to go ahead and use the same existing drain on it. I'm just going to plug that up, plug that in, and if by chance you don't have that, or if it's a different size, you have to rerun it. It does come with a new hose and everything with it. Okay, and that's nice and tight for the discharge. So the next thing we're going to do is there's a tank overflow, and we don't have a place to go with the overflow, so it's just going to stick this on, and if it overflows, it'll go into the floor, and they'll notice it and then be able to shut down the machine in case there's a malfunction. But otherwise, this will never be used. So that goes right on the back side here. What we're going to do, we're going to take the grommet. I'm going to just press that in there until it's like that, and then I'm going to take my flat screwdriver, pop that in the rest of the way, take my 90 and just go like that. You can run hose down if you want. It doesn't matter. It's there's no drain for it to go to, so it's just going to go on the floor if it malfunctions, and that'll notify them that there is something wrong. We're going to go ahead and connect the electric up for the new machine. We're going to route that out the back. Because there is that open void on the cover, we want to make sure we kind of just go in that so nothing gets pinched. Route that around, and we're going to plug that in. All right, so we're going to end up with the panel lit up right now. We're going to hit select. There you go. Run through. We're going to go to present time. That actually popped up first, so the present time is 10:23. So right now it's at 12 p.m. So we'll hit the bottom arrow. If you depress it, it goes super fast. That time is set up. Next, we're going to go to hardness. The machine automatically comes with hardness of 25. We're going to bring that down to 15. I'm going to double check that on the test strip, but for now we'll just go ahead and leave it at 15. So once that's done, we'll hit select. We're using salt. If we were using potassium, we would go to KCl. We're using salt, so it's NaCl, salt. And then we just go back to this screen. This is the main screen. And there's the time. And on this side is the 1 through 8 is the salt level in the tank, the brine tank. And what we'll do next is use our buckets that we took out and fill that up. So I would put salt in. To start these systems, if you're starting brand new on it, just use 3 bags only. We'll start with that. On the inside of the tank, you have the float tube assembly. It has 1 through 8 on it in yellow. Right now the salt level is sitting down at 4. So we're going to come over here to the scale. We're going to go to our salt level. We're going to bump that up to 4. When this goes down to 2 on the scale, the machine will monitor itself. This blue light will start flashing, indicating you need to add salt. So at that time, you'll add salt, readjust your salt level, and the machine's off and going again. So at this point, what we're going to do, since our connections are done, we've got our drain tube hooked up. We're not on bypass. We're in service right now. The machine is working, and we're going to go ahead and hit recharge. I'm going to depress that for 3 seconds. And that kicks this machine into regeneration. That's going to clean it initially for the first time here. It's going to clean the tank. It's going to reintroduce the salt. It's going to go through a 2-hour cleaning system, or a recharge. So once that's done, this machine is in working order, and you really don't have to mess with it again unless you need to add salt, and it's off and going. So we'll go ahead and finish up, and we'll show you the finished product. Here's the new Ream unit installed. Identical setup to the other one, which was the Whirlpool. Identical setup to the GE one as well. So that is it. It's all set up. It's going through regeneration right now to make sure everything's cleaned up. All right. Thanks for watching DIY on the house. If you have any comments or questions, comment down below, and we'll be happy to get back with you. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. And thanks for watching DIY on the house.